Joining me on Impact Catalyst is Joanna Robotham, who is at the Tampa Museum of Art. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you.
And we're here with our fourth installation celebrating the winners of the Charlie Hansel Scholarship, which is given out through the Tampa Bay Businesses for Culture and the Arts. First, let's get to know you a little better. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do when you're not judging scholarships?
Sure. I'm the curator of modern and contemporary art at the Tampa Museum of Art. So that means that I work with our executive director, the Penny and Jeff Vinnick executive director, Dr. Michael Tomore, on planning the exhibition schedule and proposing objects for the collection and just making sure that we are caring for the collection properly and working closely with our education department on programming. So I'm very involved in making sure that we are reaching out to broad audiences. This is my fourth year actually as the judge in the visual arts category. And every year it's a pleasure working with Susanna and Stephen on thinking about and meeting the scholarship recipients. So it's a pleasure to serve in this capacity.
Do you remember what originally drew you to wanting to participate?
I think initially it was just meeting Susanna and being really impressed with the work that she's been doing with TBBCA and building that relationship between the museum and her organization was critical on both ends. I know we have a really wonderful relationship with TBBCA, and to be able to award a scholarship to an emerging artist and giving them that encouragement to pursue their dream is just something that I really enjoy doing. So it's really wonderful to be able to engage with our community in this way.
And you had your job cut out for you in this category because of the really large variety of types of visual arts that are available, and you ended up picking someone who is in a very modern medium. Can you talk about your process for being able to, find a common element to compare and contrast the different mediums?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting that, again, this is my fourth year judging, and every year the student has been quite different. I think that every year I pick a student working in a different medium. What really drew me to Izzy's application was just, I think, the power of her artist statement, and then seeing how her artist statement and her artwork matched up. And that's really critical for me. I do this not only just for judging the scholarships, but for just my own work in general and thinking about how artists talk about their works of art. And in thinking about Izzy's work, I always look for the application. We get every year, I'm sure every judge will tell you, we get a big box of submissions from Susanna. And every year I look for that application that I just can't stop thinking about, the one that really has that magic or that wow power. And Izzy's really held my attention and really captivated me, and I kept going back to it. And that's how I knew that she was the recipient for this year's scholarship.
And you have the benefit of being surrounded by some of the best art in the world on a regular basis. When you look at folks that are being exhibited in the museum, in your museum, versus youth submissions, do you see is it ultimately just a raw thread in them that just grows over time, or do you think that it's a base of craftsmanship that evolves over time? How do you sort of divide between the two, and what you're drawn to?
It's interesting. I worked with the artist Marinette Larson, who TBBCA honored, I want to say about 2 years ago, as an artist. And she mentioned something when we were working together in one of her talks, that every artist from a very young age has what they need to be an artist within them. Meaning, so basically those seeds are within you. And I think that, you can see it immediately with these artists. So many of the artists who submitted artwork for consideration are talented. And it just goes to show that what's going on in our high schools in this community, there are some extraordinary art teachers who are mentoring and encouraging these students. And I think someone like Izzy, her talent is it's raw and it's natural, and it's already there. What she needs to succeed is already there. And I'm just excited for her to go on to Ringling College and to further pursue what her dream is.
That's wonderful. And we have the pleasure of having Izzy join us. Welcome, Izzy. It's good to see you. First, congratulations on winning the Charlie Hansel Scholarship, Art Star Scholarship. That's got to feel good.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's an amazing honor.
And while Joanna was talking about you, she used words like powerful and authentic. Can you talk a little bit about what's inside you that comes out through your art?
Wow. Those are very uh flattering words, I guess. And for the powerful part, I guess I try to show powerful female characters through my art. The portfolio that I submitted for the scholarship is a little bit older, so I'm not sure if that shows through that particular body of work, but yeah, that's something that's important to me, to make characters that feel real and people can relate to.
That's great. And your medium is digital, and so is that have you is that just what it's always been for you? Did you experiment in you know old school uh, mediums before, and then find your way to digital, or why did you end up there?
Um, I think that digital art is so much less messy, and you can kind of just experiment um, with a maybe a wider array of techniques and stuff. But I really love traditional as well, and I try to practice it a lot and kind of have a mix of that in my artwork. Yeah.
And Joanna, that'd be something I'd be curious to hear your take on, and in curating the work at the Tampa Museum. Digital is obviously has been an emerging medium for quite a while now. Um, how are you mixing that with the more traditional mediums?
It's interesting. I actually haven't quite yet had the opportunity to dabble in digital art in my time at the Tampa Museum of Art, but I do have in an upcoming exhibition. I'm working with a couple of artists that do work who are exploring VR, um, and so I'm very excited to be able to test that out in our galleries. But I think what's interesting about Izzy's work, at least the work that she submitted, is that you can see where she's looking at the traditional. She submitted some very kind of traditional figurative drawings, which is, everybody starts with the body, and to see where she took those sketches and evolved it into animation to illustration. She has a kind of the traditional fundamental basics, but now she's taking it into a new medium. And that's always wonderful and exciting to see. And, the fact that she's going to Ringling College that has such a strong program in that area, I think that she will just really excel as she continues her training, her art, developing her artistic skills.
And Izzy, when you talk about lifting up women, are there specific you know areas or themes that you're drawn to more than others?
Hmm. That's a good question. One of a particular theme that I'd like to show is sisterhood, because that is personal to my own life, and I think that we need more stories like that, just about those types of realistic relationships. Yeah.
And I guess, and this is a tough one to answer on the spot. When you think about, when we say we need more of that, and you compare the realness to maybe what's out there that's less real, can you sort of describe what you see in the gap between the two?
Um, yeah, I think that an aspect that I would like to portray in my illustrations and my stories is female characters who are more real, who are also more flawed, because I can kind of see types of characters that are more perfected, and I don't think that anybody is really like that. I would like to show characters that develop, that have their own struggles, and yeah, and are more real.
It's great. It's great. And so, as you take this medium forward, can you kind of talk about your vision for how art works into your life going forward, either professionally or personally?
Yeah, I would love to pursue it as a career. That is my dream. For exactly what sort of career, I am not really sure about that yet. And I think that's an exciting time to um, not quite know what you want to do yet, and have that open to new discoveries in your life.
New discoveries rock. And the good news is, whatever you decide, you're going to have some scholarship money to help you do it. So that's nice. Uh, Enjoyed talking with you. We'll have the final presentation of all the winners and their performances. Yours will be your art put up, and that'll be following this series next week. So we'll look forward to celebrating your art and your win again. And congratulations again, and
Congratulations, Izzy.
Thank you so much.